Thanks for joining Oscar and I today for part 3 of Veg with Lisa's squash series. We have a pseudo-French theme going on. I've got a poodle, a French warty pumpkin, and a great French wine to go with it. Let's get cooking. Good boy, Oscar. Yeah. If you missed episodes 1 et 2 of our squash series, be sure and check it out online at vegwithlisa.com. In part 1, we showed you how easy it is to make homemade pumpkin puree and a delicious pumpkin pie. And in part 2, we baked a bunch of squash. But today, for part 3, check this beauty out. I have got a French heirloom pumpkin. The French name is Brode Galou d'Azine, which I know I'm slaughtering. My French friends can write in and correct me on that, which means embroidered with warts from Azine, which is a city in France. And these warts, Mike from Good Acres Farms, when I bought this pumpkin, he explained to me that these warts are actually the sugar coming out from the pumpkin. As the pumpkin ripens, the sugar pops out. So I thought it would be a really cool thing to, instead of peeling and cubing the flesh to use in the soup, I'm just going to cut this into wedges, leaving the skin on. That way, some of that sugar will be absorbed, hopefully, back into the flesh, and it's going to make for a heck of a delicious roasted pumpkin soup. The preparation's the same as before. I'm going to cut this, scoop out the seeds, and then I'm going to roast it on a pan. Carefully slice into this guy. Oh, wow. Nice. Whoa, check it out. That is awesome. Again, you can see how dense this guy is. Now remember, you can't use a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin for this recipe. You could use a Cinderella pumpkin, any pumpkin that you would use for pie, but not the big round hollow jack-o'-lanterns. They just don't have enough flesh. And as before, scoop out these seeds, which you can save and toast for an awesome snack, or even save to put in your garden for next year. Now I'm going to just slice it into wedges. You know, I think Americans do a pretty poor job of utilizing this versatile, what's actually a fruit, in savory dishes. We tend to think of pumpkin only for pumpkin pie, but it's fabulous in a myriad of ways. Pumpkin curry, pumpkin doggy treats. I'm told that pumpkin's really good for dogs. All right, I'm going to drizzle a large baking sheet with a little bit of olive oil because I want to take advantage of the sugar, the natural sugar in this pumpkin. And I think it's going to caramelize really well when I roast it on a high heat. All right. I'm going to pop this in the oven for about 45 minutes to an hour until it gets nice and soft. While the warty pumpkin roasts, I will saute in some extra virgin olive oil, a couple of leeks, and an onion, a little bit of garlic. By the way, I'm still getting all of this amazing fresh produce at local farmers markets around town. Brooke and Dan grow some mean leeks down at Bad Seed. Saute these guys until they're soft. Add some fresh herbs, which are from my garden at Sprout Community Garden. I've got rosemary, sage, and thyme, and a bunch of fresh flat leaf parsley. So add that to the leeks and the onions, and give your aromatics a stir. Look at how awesome this looks when it comes out of the oven. See how where we've oiled the pan, the sugars have caramelized and it's just gotten all nice and roasty. Hopefully the sugar from those warts has been absorbed right back into the pumpkin. Oh my gosh, this looks delicious. Scoop this roasted flesh out. Look at this beautiful flesh. In it goes to the soup pot with the aromatics. Stir it all up. and then add some stock. Now I made a real rich and hearty vegetable stock that I used some of the seeds and the stringy fleshy bits from some of the squashes that we cooked in episodes 1 and 2. You can certainly buy a good quality vegetable stock. Just notice if you do happen to buy one, if it's salted or not, because that's going to affect how much salt you use in the recipe. Speaking of salt, I never salt my stock when I make it, so probably need a little bit of salt in there. Stir this all together, bring it to a simmer. The squash is already cooked, so it won't take too long. We'll let it cook just to get the flavors to meld. Okay, the soup is cooked and I get to use my favorite kitchen tool, the immersion blender. Ideally, you would let this cool a little bit before you start blending away. Then stir in a couple tablespoons of butter, purely optional, but this soup is so deliciously decadent. Why not splurge a little bit? Little splash of half and half. Again, you don't have to add those two things, but oh, it makes it taste so delicious. And then just a pinch of nutmeg that I freshly grated myself. You're good to go. To serve this delicious soup, you can garnish however you like. A little bit of creme fraiche might be nice. I'm just going to add some extra parsley. Look at this beautiful orange color. That tells me that this is so good for you. Maybe some beta carotene, vitamin A, lots of vitamins. It's going to taste great too. Let's give it a taste. Oh, it's delicious. Rich and creamy, just pumpkin-y enough. I love it. Debbie at the Cellaret helped me choose a French wine to go with my French Heirloom Pumpkin soup, and we went with a French Chardonnay. So it's not going to be oaky, but I think still rich enough to hold up to the richness in the soup. Oh, that is perfect. Boom. Glory chose a hoppy wheat to go along with this pumpkin soup. It is a really beautiful light color. That would be the wheat. Also, the wheat is nice and clean, so Glory thought it would be a nice contrast with the fresh herbs in the soup. And the hops will probably be able to cut through the richness. So let's see how she did. Oh yeah. Good job, Gloria. I like it a lot. Thanks for joining us for the grand finale of our winter squash series. Any of these squash recipes are perfect for this time of the year, especially this beautiful pumpkin soup. Bon appetit. Gobble, gobble.